Welcome. Today, I'm going to give you some specific exercises that are going to build on my last video about ear training. And I'm really excited to share these. These are the critical things that you actually need to do now that I hope you have some understanding about how to think about maybe your relationship with hearing music in context, right? So, okay, I've got a few things for you. I wanted to show them on both instruments. The first thing I would do if you play guitar and piano is to start considering, do I really know groups of chords that go together commonly in music? A good group of chords to look at first is the 1, 4, 5, and 6 minor chords. In Western popular music, those are often used. I can't tell you how many songs I play those in. I am expecting to hear those and to play them. And so let me demonstrate that really quick in a certain key. Let's say I'm in the key of E. So depending on the style of music you play, you might play these chords differently. But our open position chords, I think, are really good for most guitarists to focus on. That is often what we want to be playing on guitar in general, right? You want a really resonant, easy sound. If you want a certain kind of color or a certain kind of muting or, texture kind of thing, you might go up the neck. I mean, of course you can do whatever you want, but practicing these chords really open and resonant is, I think, a good idea. So you're going to want to find your 1, 4, right? And I have certain kind of ways I play these chords. There's a 5. I like to play a B power chord with the open. And if I'm playing this in like a general kind of pop song, if I want obviously there's different voicings here. You can find all these nice sounds, of course, added notes. But in general, right, if you're kind of wanting to practice this overall, play something that's kind of pretty agreeable. I like this B. So, and then we have our 6th chord, and I also like to do this. This is C sharp minor. So when I'm playing in the key of E, I have my finger on all these chords. The next step within to B, ask yourself, do I know not only those 4, but do I know all the chords in the key? We call that diatonic chords. So in E, again, I could play bar chords. I often discourage students from doing this though, because not all chords are created equal. And like I said, most people should probably be going for a resonant sound. If the bar chord sounds what you want, then that's great. And it's good to be able to do. I do occasionally use them, but okay. So in general, I'm going to find some open sounds. I kind of like this A with an added F sharp. So, I've got these kind of go-to voicings that I can alter and I can do a lot of stuff with, but I want something that kind of generic that sounds really good, and it could be used in lots of songs for practical effect, right? So I can use it, but also I can kind of hear a really good sounding 2 minor chord in the key of E. So think of it like that. So not only is it useful for actual songs, I could use this in a lot of songs, right? I could use it in what would be a good one to use it with a 2 chord in it? Let's say I was playing Tennessee Whiskey by Chris Stapleton. That just came to my mind because I know that has a 2. So I could use it there. This is kind of used in Radiohead's High and Dry, if you know that song. It's kind of that color, right? I think that's the progression, and that's the key. Let's say I was playing something like... what's the My Girl, the old oldies tune? I could do kind of if I was doing a modern version, or I might want this sound. So I'm getting a little kind of distracted by guitar voicings, but good to think about kind of what sound we want. Do I want this vertical, really, really closed sound, or do I want this more open, right? So I would want to know, can I play 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? If I did that, I would get something like this. There's lots of 3 chords you could play, also kind of generic, but is very useful in most kinds of music. 4, that's a really nice 4. Lots of 4s on the guitar, the A. And that's how I'm thinking, right? I'm thinking in this term of relativity. I wrote a bullet point of list for myself to go over stuff in this video, and the first thing I put was zoom out. So think in every song when we're working with learning tunes and also just playing chords, I'm no longer thinking like this with the concept. So I'm not like, oh, I know an F sharp minor chord and it's this very specific thing. I'm thinking more that F sharp minor is a 2 chord. I'm zoomed out, right? I'm just kind of always a little separated from the content. I think that can really help. So, my one thing I'd say, if I play it, I'll just demonstrate all these chords real quick. There's a 3, 4. Like I said, there's lots of options, right? I'm kind of using some open strings. I have a hard time with that one. It's just so really packed in there. 5, again, you can use different ones. Find one that you like, right? That it's going to serve the song and the music. 6, again, lots of different options. So again, it's kind of, this is a learning your instrument, right? 7, this is the one I was going to say something on, because we rarely do play this diminished sonority, right? Really insular. I always put the added, but it's really just those 3 notes. In most popular music, you're going to use this 7 chord as a 5. It's going to be kind of in the B7, right? And that, whatever voice thing I played there, that's part of a B7, right? So the 7 chord in general, I think of it as like what I would call a 5/7, which is kind of a B over D sharp in this case, right? It's an inversion that usually goes to 1 or comes away from 1, right? How many songs do we know that does that? 1, walk down, 6, 5, 4, right? And so this leads me into my next point. Start playing little, they're almost like missions, right? Or they're like levels on a game. Like, can I play a little walk down in this key? And this comes from learning songs eventually. If you play guitar long enough or piano, you're going to start to see these walk down progressions. We've all heard them before. They're really common. And you ask yourself, can I do that? Like, and a good way to start, I think, on any instrument, but guitar, we want to start thinking about the bass and maybe even some common notes on the top. That will make it easier to try this stuff out. You don't have to play all the chords. It's really, the bass can almost carry all of it. But if you play, let's say I'll play this little walk down thing. I'm going to play, let's start here. And I'm playing the open to thinnest for some of the sound of the key, right? 7, 6, lots of songs, right? You could go down, right? That's often what happens. Kind of canon in D. It's kind of Welcome to the Black Parade. Is that song? Taught that a few months ago. It's Each Coming Night by Iron and Wine, if you know that song. It's lots of songs, right? Right, it's a lot of James Taylor. It's a lot of older music. So it's also I Want You Back, right? Jackson 5, yeah. Okay, so lots of stuff, right? We can start to play some of these. We're working out our muscles musically. Like, can I play that same stuff in the key of D? Let's find out. So I might pick these 2. And then now I'm playing descending D scale, which I now need to think in this numeric way, right? Where I'm tying that sound to the number. 1, 7, 6, 5, 4. Might just go down to there. Right, you could, let's say I'm playing 4 in this key. 3, 2, 5, right? Or I'm going, just often you'll see these little small motions in songs going between 1, 7, 6. I could try that in all the keys I know on guitar, and the 5 that are really good to play in, and thinking in numbers, I think that everyone should start with are the first 5 of the circle fifths, C, G, D, A, E. And which actually the same ones we use for caged and stuff like that. So it's convenient. So those are the 5 keys on guitar that really sound nice, right? This is the key of A. 4, 5, 1, 7, 6, 5, 4. And then I want to ask myself, do I know all my A diatonic chords? Which is the chords in the key. Can I go 1, 2? Find good ways to play them that you like. I like this B minor. You could do this, sure. You could do lots of stuff. 3. 3 sometimes also gets reused as a, not 3 minor, but like a 1/3, right? That's a really common sound. I really like that sound. 1, okay. And I've got 5, 6, 7. It'd be 5/7, right? Back to 1. Right, so these key centers, that's what I call them on guitar, and also piano, but they're going to feel different, right? Guitar is extremely biased. So be aware of your instrument's bias. Piano doesn't have much of one. It's more internal of whether you like playing in certain keys or not on piano, just personally. But guitar has a lot of bias in the open chords that we can use, and that's going to affect how our instrument sounds. And we generally want more resonance, not less. But it is good to practice this stuff in other keys, right? So eventually you could try it in the key of F or something, and this is going to maybe be a little bit more closed. Stuff like tenths are great to practice once you know what those are in a key. I'm just playing the F major scale, which is like a third, right? F-A. I'm playing it in thirds, but I'm moving the 3 up one octave, so it's a 10. And that's a great way, right? Really nice sound. It still sounds like the chords. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 1. Let's say I was going to play a song like Yesterdays by the Beatles, right? Da, da, da. And then I can just go through. This gets out of the key, but 6, 4, 5, 4, 6 and 2 major, and 4 and 1, and then it walks down to 6, dum, dum, bum, and walks down again, 6, 5, 4 and 5, da, 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 1, little 2, 5 to the 6th chord again. And how I'm hearing that song, just to be very transparent with you, and so that you can learn this method, is my brain is like playing that song and rendering the numbers. So it's not memorized, right? That's what I want for students, is it to be an actual process of hearing, right? Of really kind of tracking these harmonies and melodies, and it's this automatic thing, right? So that's what you want. And it's a color, right? It's this visceral reaction to me. And I've just sharpened it a lot, right? And it's possible for you too. But you do have to keep zoomed out. Start to think about the bass, right? And I want to now demonstrate on piano real quick. And another concept here, I put also know the key on this paper here in front of me. So what I would say about that is similar to stuff I've laid out in guitar already. Let's say I'm on piano and I'm playing in the key of, I'll make it hard for me, F sharp. Just, a hairy key for many people. So I might want to do stuff on piano just to get my feet warm with this. Playing 1 and 5 of a key center, in this case F sharp, C sharp, right? And in my left hand, I might just play some chords, and I might try to work on a song I know or make up a harmony by just moving the left hand, right? 3, 4, 6, 5, 7, 1. And I could play a whole song, right? Just if I tried, what's a good song to demonstrate this? Of course, I can't think of one. Let It Be. I'll stick to the Beatles. That's where my head is right now. 1, 5, 6, 4, 1 and 5, and then 4, right? 4. So you basically make your hand stay, the right hand just help with the key sound, right? That's kind of giving us context for that left hand. 5. You could even add the little walk up, right? 6, 4, 1, 5. And we have the chorus coming up here. 4. And you might have to, you can practice singing any of this, right? Not just the melody, but the bass. C, 6, 5, 4, 1, right? 1, 5, 4. Now, once you know a key sum, you can then you could of course go through just triads. This is a probably necessary step for everybody, right? We all have to do this. And then again, like I said on the guitar part, the 7 is often reharmonized like that, like 5 over 7. So that's a D flat over F. That's kind of how I hear that usually. Sometimes you'll hear a 7, but it sounds pretty gnarly, right? Here's the 7. What key am I in here? Yeah. So here's the 7 sound. Woo, right? It's too dissonant for most of popular music's purposes. You'll hear it in jazz a lot. You'll hear craziness like double diminished chords in jazz, moving, and resolving, but not in pop. Okay, that's the first step would be 1 and 5 in right hand, bass note. The second step would be triads, right? Just going through. The third step then would be to kind of get a little bit more creative in how you play chords, using inversions and really trying to keep zoomed out, right? And also, let's say I just do root 5 and left. Now I'm in D flat. Let's try another key. And then right hand plays the third. That's the 1 chord. Isn't that beautiful? And just playing a whole song like this. So I'm kind of developing skills that are really tied to this context, that are not just trying our best to play chords. I want to think, what's in this key? And this could be just a project that you do in you're studying, that you just kind of warm up in a certain key as your practice. Of course, you can go up the key, but what if I just kind of move around? What if I practice with the scale above? And the cool thing about harmony is even when I play a wrong note or kind of a rub, if I'm just making music up, all these notes have a certain context. They're all pointing in the same direction, right? They're all pointing to D flat as 1. Like if I play, right, that's 4. You feel that? And I'm playing 3 in the bass. 2. Oh, that sounds good, right? Those go together. This is the third of this chord. How does 2 sound against? Right now, that's 3 of the key, but 2 of the chord, right? 2, 3, 5, 4, right? 7, dissonant. 1, 7, jazzy, right? So I'm going to try anything I can do. Like what if it's just you're at the level of key of C, right? Then you can go 1, 2. This sounds, it's a little square, right? So we can make it, let's say I just do something like my right hand plays the C and G, and my left hand plays maybe thirds. And let's say I play on a song like, my kid is into Sky Full of Stars because it's on the Sing soundtrack. So that one goes like this. I don't know what key it's in. Let's say it's an F. Okay, so we go like this. If I did it like this way, 1 and 5 in right hand, and then left hand's playing the third of the chord. And this song goes 6, 5, 4, 1, 3. So I could make that work. I can make music out of this, right? I can really feel this potential of practicing in context. That sounds pretty cool. What if I used, I think the sound of that song is kind of like a 1 chord on top. And then I'm playing a version. Now, let's say we're playing C. So again, I'm practicing changing keys, trying to play the same stuff. This is really the best way to test this, right? Can I play something in a similar key or in another key and with the same stuff, the same context? So let's say I go 6 in the left, right? 6, 5, 4, 1, 3. And I hear kind of, I think that's what it does, right? Similar, or it's maybe a little closer to the harmony. So I'm trying to build these things up in the easiest way. If I just play 1 and 5 on top with the right rhythm, sounds good to me. 1, 3. I love that 3 instead of the 5. We're expecting the 5, right? Because 1, 4, 5, and 6 are the most important chords to be able to identify very quickly. And I listen to a lot of music that doesn't have those chords in the songs, breaks the rules. But these conventional things explain the exception. They help you identify the exception. It's like it's hard to describe this, but once you start to think in this way, it's kind of like being in on something, right? You're kind of like in on the weird coordination of things that happen in music that go on behind the scenes, and you just show up with this knowledge. And I tell students this sometimes, like, if I was hiring for a band member in my band, and there was two people that one of them, let's say, wasn't that technically proficient, or maybe not as much, but he kind of had it, or they, I'm sorry, mainly men I've worked with, sadly, not always, thankfully, but maybe they have an understanding of numbers and an understanding of context in some regards. And someone else was also auditioning, and they were really flashy, but they really had no clue what context was. Not that they couldn't learn, but I would go with the first person always, 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 always. That is such a valuable insight to have, I think, because that means that this person can roll with the punches more and understands the larger picture going on here, and is just not playing in an arbitrary way where the story is missing somewhat, like the awareness of the story happening. So, you know, when I'm listening to something and I hear, I was working on No Surprises by Radiohead recently, and that song goes kind of plays this chord, so it's like one, this 4 chord with and then inversion, which I love, and then 2, and then 5, back to 1. But that chord just hits me a certain way. Something like that. I think it's more like this. Can't play all the, something like that. It's a beautiful harmony, right? Right. And then the rest of it's pretty standard, right? But that's a shade, that's a color. Right? And then later on, it goes into 5, minor 4, right? And that's such a color. 5, right? Not this, right? That's the normal. And then back to minor 4, and then something, little walk up in the bass, right? So I know the 4, 5, flat 6, flat 7, 1. You start to associate these things together and see these big patterns, and all the other songs that I've done that before and come to mind, right? So this lesson's going on too long, but I will be back with more practice on this. This is something I think we all need, right? And I'm happy to give it to you. And so this is the way I see things and how I practice this. It has to be so applied and so actually exercised and used. And if it's abstract at all, we're going about the wrong way. So I hope this is encouraging, and you can get thinking in a more musical way. And this goes for anything, right? Any song you're learning, you can practice this. You can figure out the key. In general, start thinking about, do I know how to play open chords in these keys on guitar? Do I know on piano how to practice really simple things? Just playing, inversions, thinking contextually in the key. Can I play all the diatonic chords? Can I just go through 4, 3, 2, 1, 6, 4, 5, 6, 5 over 7, 1, right? Can I do the same thing in another key? Anytime you're learning something, ask yourself, can I play it in another key? Because that is kind of really getting at the heart of things. If you're really serious about this and if you want to grow, you want to be able to do stuff like that. It's going to make you musically available and musically flexible, and really, like I said, kind of in on it in some weird way. So until next time, I'll be back with another technique and practice video soon. So best of luck until then.